All right, guys, welcome to another school lesson. Today's topic, obviously, as you can see, is eating for fat loss on vacation, right? So, this is kind of a topic that comes up quite frequently a lot of times in my coaching calls with a lot of my one on one clients where we are kind of discussing and talking about different strategies and maybe different mindsets and just different practices that we can implement while you are on vacation if you do want to adhere to keeping some kind of consistent eating pattern in some type of structure routine and ultimately setting yourself up to continue to make progress towards your fat loss goals, or at least not messing up too badly to continue your fat loss goals when you get back from vacation. Okay, so that's kind of what today's topic is going to be on. Different strategies are all, different techniques and mindset focused approaches that I have personally came up with myself. So let's get into it. All right. So, yeah, some different topics that we'll be covering a little bit today. Again, talking a little bit about mindset, obviously benefits of movement, food volume, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All kind of standard practices here, guys. So, all right. So, kind of first bullet point here is the reality of vacation and just, kind of accepting that reality, which is like, vacation eating won't be perfect, to be totally honest with you. You know, it does kind of help reduce stress if you kind of take your bar of expectation and, maybe drop it a little bit. Okay, so what exactly does that mean, right? What that can mean is, if you have this percentage of adherence that you have throughout the week, right? On a normal given week, say it's 100%. When you go on vacation, right? Maybe accepting the fact that you'll be about 75%, for that week or for that 10-day stretch, however long you're going away for. And just kind of being okay with that, to be totally honest with you. That is really, really beneficial, to be honest with you, because if you kind of go into it expecting that you're going to adhere to the same kind of standards that you do when you're home, I think you're going to be let down. You're going to be disappointed, and then kind of how you deal with, failure and everything like that can dictate a lot of the progress that you're going to make, right? So just kind of being realistic with yourself about like what you want to get out of the vacation, right? So maybe it's just like maintaining your body weight, right? Um, if that's a win, like for your vacation, then if you do that, that's excellent. You know what I'm saying, right? Maybe it's enjoying yourself a little bit, letting loose, um, and just kind of accepting the realities of that. It's fine, you know what I mean. So it really comes down to your own mindset, right? Um, Aim to maintain your current body weight or body fat levels, is a very successful outcome. Preparing mentally for imperfect food choices, it gives you better decision making, and you can get more enjoyment out of your vacation, right? So yeah, definitely like this is huge, right? We want to try to increase our movement on vacation, but it's also kind of just a part of vacation as well. To be totally honest with you, right? Most people are gonna walk more on vacation, just due to the kind of nature of how vacation is. You're gonna walk to restaurants. You're gonna go sightseeing. You're gonna be walking around the hotel. So your daily calorie burn actually is probably, not too bad, right? If you're a super, super, super active person, when you're away, maybe you know, you run 4 or 5 times a week, maybe it'd be hard to match that. You know what I'm saying? But if you kind of you work a standard desk job and, you work your standard desk job, you go to the gym, you do a little bit of cardio on the side, you'll probably be all right, honestly, on vacations from a movement point. But obviously, right, like try to be intentional about it. Try to move your body a little bit more because it's just gonna aid and support a lot of the outcome that you want, which is fat loss, right? So food volume and choices matter, right? So reduce food volume on vacation, right? So Busy activities often reduce structured meal times. People tend to eat fewer full meals and more casual snacks, right? Lower total food volume can help limit caloric intake naturally. Active lifestyle increases energy expenditure, balance, and reduce meals. So, this is kind of where you have to think a little bit about it, right? So, in terms of your actual like food meals, right? So, say you're used to eating three, four, maybe five times a day, including snacks when you're home, that number is actually probably going to be a little bit less when you're on vacation, just due to the fact that you are a little bit more busy. Food is not like the center of your day, right? You're going to be focused on your vacation activities. Maybe it's relaxing, maybe you just want to get down to the beach, right? But the calories can kind of build up a little bit quicker from fried and greasy foods, right? Obviously due to the excess of fats and obviously sugary desserts and drinks can spike the calories. So if you're sitting by the pool and you have two sugary alcoholic beverages, right? That might be 500-600 calories right there. But you skip breakfast, you have a salad for lunch. So you think you haven't ate that much, but the calories do add up, right? Obviously, eating a low protein meal it reduces your fullness and increases fat storage risk. And then, yeah, having like fewer nutrients as well is going to kind of throw off your hunger signaling, right? So if you kind of just, you're sitting by the pool, you order the quesadillas, you have a beer, and you may feel full for the moment, but there's not a lot of nutrients in that food. You're not getting many micronutrients. You're not getting a lot of fiber in. You're not getting in healthy carbs. You're not getting in any potassium, anything like that. So, when the micronutrient profile is thrown off, that's when, your food signaling in your brain can actually be affected a little bit too, right? So you really do just have to try to avoid those foods that add up quicker in calories, which is inherently sugary foods or drinks or fried foods. Exercise. Why and how on vacation? So personally, I would recommend exercise as much as you can, right? If you're going on a 7-day trip and you can only manage 3 days, 4 days, that's better than nothing. If you can exercise every day because you enjoy it, it's something that you want to do, or maybe you're trying to push yourself, challenge yourself, again, the more the better, right? But these don't have to be crazy workouts. Excuse me, just accept. These don't need to be crazy workouts. 30, 45 minutes. Keep it quick, keep it light, keep it moving. Focus on higher reps. Get in some supersets, circuit style training. You can keep things fast and moving. You don't think that you're necessarily going to make any significant progress while you're on vacation, but more so just keep the body moving, keep it fresh, maintaining, right? So you're going to focus on a little bit less on the weight, a little bit more in the reps and the sets, a little bit more aerobic based workouts, right? So, if you're used to doing like sets of 8 to 10 when you're in the gym at home, maybe switch to sets of 15 to 20, superset it, do like a giant circuit if you want, where you choose 5 to 6 different exercises and you're kind of rotating through all of them. Maybe it takes you about 35 minutes to finish that. That's your workout for the day. Maybe you ended on the treadmill, 20-minute incline walk. You're in and out in the gym in under an hour, and you got good movement in, you got good exercise in, you kind of tick that box off for the day. Now you can enjoy it, right? That's kind of the mindset that you have to take when it comes to exercising. Is you don't need to spend hours in the gym, on exercise and cardio and everything like that. You can keep it short and simple and still get quite effective results. So now, this is probably like my number one tip in terms of controlling appetite for vacation, and it's protein intake. So protein is the most satiating macronutrient that there is, right? It has a higher thermic effect of food compared to any other food that there is, compared to carbs and fats, right? So if you eat 100 calories worth of pure protein, you burn 30 calories from just digesting it alone. So you only absorb 70. Whereas with carbs and fats, you don't have to work as hard to digest them. You only burn about 5 to 10 calories with that. So you absorb 90 to 95 of those calories, right? So the more protein that you can have, the more calories you're going to burn inherently, which is going to keep that weight gain, metric down. It's also going to keep you more full, right? So you're not going to be as inclined to snacking and binging and picking and just having stuff that you shouldn't have overall, right? So protein is a win-win, right? Every chance that you get, breakfast, lunch, dinner, try to intentionally overeat the protein because it will make a big difference in the end, right? So if you're gonna do a salad, get extra chicken in there. If you're gonna do a steak, get the biggest steak that you can or that you can afford. You kind of get what I'm getting at here. So this is kind of how I would personally structure my meals if I were on vacation, and this is what I do myself when I go away on vacation. Try to start your day with eggs. Doesn't have to look like this, right? It doesn't have to look like the screen of this egg right here, right? But try to get, some kind of eggs in the morning if you do like them. It's a good healthy fat for you in the morning. Helps get your brain going. Good micronutrient profile in there. It will set you up really nicely. If you do like an omelet or something like that, throw some vegetables in there, get some extra fiber in to keep you more full. Would be excellent, right? So, spinach, peppers are really rich in micronutrients. So pretty much like for your breakfast, I would try to keep it really simple. Couple of eggs, maybe some veggies if you can, some fruit on the side, get a little bit of those clean carbs in, some natural sugars, a little bit extra fiber in there as well. Really, really nice. It's quick, easy, convenient, pretty accessible as well. If you're at a hotel, you can order an omelet and get a fruit bowl on the side, right? You don't need to get the French toast every single day. And yeah, that would be my recommendation for breakfast. Then moving on to lunch, I would keep it light. I would keep it quick, but I would keep it high in protein. Maybe something like a turkey wrap. Again, get extra turkey in there. Great protein source. A lot of, vegetables. You can fill it up with lettuce, tomato. You can go with the cheese and the mayo and the dressings and stuff like that. If you do have the option to keep it light, right, do less. If you can get a fat-free option or a low-fat option, even better. But not going to necessarily nitpick there. Same thing. So salad, right? Get salad, vegetables, extra chicken. You kind of get the idea. You want to try to eat for volume at this point. So you're going to try to have stuff that fills you up, keeps you full for a long time, but also hits that protein goal as well, right? So something simple, light, white meat is pretty ideal here with some vegetables. If you do need a carb, you can opt for you're gonna get some carbon from the wrap, right? But you can opt for maybe like a sweet potato, or you can get more fruit on the side, or if they have rice or something like that, that'd be great, right? So it kind of obviously depends on where you are, where you're staying, but this is just kind of general theme and guideline of what I would do. And then dinner, this is where you can maybe have a little bit more fun, but the key here is the protein first. Pick a high protein meal. Maybe you're going to get a nice big steak, nice piece of grilled chicken, or maybe even a chicken thigh, or a nice piece of fish, right? But the main type of dig of the meal, if you will, has to be that protein option. Build the rest of the meal around that. Maybe get a baked potato on the side. You can do some sweet potato fries, maybe a little bit of extra, you can do some pasta if you want. It's dinner time. You're probably going to be out with the family. You're going to be out with your friends. You can enjoy it a little bit. Just make sure you get in that protein. You can't just have like, hey, I'm just going to order the pasta for dinner. No, that's not acceptable. You can get the pasta, get a couple pieces of grilled chicken on the side, right? And then mindful indulgence, right? Typically, a lot of times where people lose themselves or the calorie count just becomes, it stacks up very quickly, is either appetizers, dessert, or alcohol. I always say choose one of the three and then just have that in moderation. So if you're going to do a drink, maybe have one or two for the night, and that's it, right? If you're going to do an appetizer, split it. If you're going to do a dessert, split it. And if you kind of do that, you'll get a nice kind of dose of both worlds where you can enjoy yourself, you can feel good, you feel like you're on vacation, you feel like you're in the moment, you're enjoying yourself with your friends, family, loved ones, whoever it may be, but you're also, staying on track as well. You're not going too crazy. Vacation eating don'ts. So you want to avoid greasy and fast foods. Avoid fried and greasy foods. Limit excessive snacking. Right. So a lot of times, really common. Like you're gonna take the chips back to the room and snack on them in bed before you go to bed. Right. Avoid binge drinking. If you find yourself 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks deep, you've gone too far. You've messed up. That's where it's so easy to add up on the calories. And then again, this is what we talked about before. Pick appetizer or dessert. Don't have 2 guilty pleasures in one meal. Just have one. Have one guilty pleasure. You'll be all right. And stay active, right? If you can kind of do those things, I know this says vacation eating don'ts, but avoid being sedentary. That's what it is. Incorporate walking, light movement. Just stay moving. Stay moving. Summary and key takeaways, right? Accept that vacation food won't be perfect. Focus on minimizing fat gain and maintaining weight. It's a really good mindset to have for vacation. You're probably not going to be in a caloric deficit on vacation unless it's very, very high and whatever, but it's probably not going to happen. So I think your win for the week should be to maintain your body weight, right? Leverage increased daily movement, walking, sightseeing to balance calorie intake. Every chance that you get, if you can walk, right? Try to capitalize that. Choose high quality foods over, fried sugary stuff, right? Exercise daily is good. Focus on circuit style workouts. Prioritize high protein meals. That's really the number one thing. Is have as much protein as possible. And you'll be all right, right? You're going to go away for 7 days, maybe 5 days. Maybe it's a short weekend trip. Maybe it's a longer, 2-week backpack to Europe, whatever the case may be. You can't mess up progress in that short period of time. Even if you're away for 2 weeks, can you do some serious damage? Yes, you definitely can in 2 weeks' time. You really do have to kind of let yourself go, if you will. As long as you're somewhat mindful, you'll be okay in the long run, right? You might have to kind of come back, hit a quick mini cut to get yourself kind of, up and going again. That's something I do a lot of times with my clients is after they come back from vacation, 2-3 week mini cut just to clean things back up again. But you'll get back on that cycle as long as you kind of stay within these principles and it's understand that it's not going to look perfect. It's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. We're working on mindset. We're working on habits. As long as you're taking positive steps towards that, you're going to succeed. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it. Stay tuned to the school. Stay tuned to the YouTube because there's going to be more stuff coming. And until next one, see you.